Happy Tampa Tuesday, y'all. What's happening?
Hello.
Ladies, good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening. It is a beautiful day here in West Central Florida. For anybody who's wondering if you're somewhere else, we're praying for you. We're praying that No, I'm kidding. It was hot today. It was a hot one. It started out a little warm. Went out for my walk this morning at 7:00 and it was already like 78 or 79 degrees. So for those of you that think Florida is very hot, you're right. And it is starting to kick up right now. So this is the world we live in. But happy Tuesday, ladies. How did Tuesday go for y'all?
Good. Busy.
Yeah, today was a great day. Got a lot done in the office and got scheduling done for the week for showing. So I'm excited about that.
Awesome. And we got some really good news here in the United States as a whole. So we're going to get into that tonight too. If this is your first time to this channel, welcome. This is the Living in Tampa channel. I'm joined in this live stream with Marsha Railton, coming to us from beautiful Bradenton, Florida.
Hello.
And we also have Miss Stacy Amon, who's coming to us from Pasco County up in Dade City. My name is Juan Alcala. If we've never met before, I'm a licensed real estate professional, and we help people just like you buy, sell, relocate, and invest here in the Tampa Bay area. So today is Tampa Talk Tuesday. We love to do these live streams. Jump in. We also love to know where you're watching from. So please do not hesitate to put that in the chat. And let us know where you're going. If you hear that screaming in the background, my wife is on her run. I have 3 feral children that are running wildly through this home right now, unsupervised. So you and I can hang out together. Right? Just we're on the same page because this is my life. This is how it works around here. But yes, yeah. So we welcome you. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to put those in the chat. Like I said, we'd love to know where you're watching from. We've got some great news from the CPI report, which is a consumer pricing index that talks about what is happening in inflation, because that's been a very hot topic for the last 18 months. And most people have been affected in different ways when it comes to inflation. Some people have been affected adversely when it comes to their groceries. I think everybody has felt that. So that's definitely a common practice. Other people in rent, other people in the houses that they were going to purchase, and the interest rates that they now have to pay, which makes mortgage payments very expensive. Definitely a lot going on there, but we got great news today. So in terms of what that is, we'll get into some of those numbers here, but just know it looks like, as of, at least for now, things are finally starting to temper down. And that is great news, because typically what happens when inflation goes down, the Federal Reserve starts to relax things. I don't think we're in any danger of having him reverse on rates yet. However, I do believe we could potentially get a pause here, which is very exciting. And I know that interest rates may not be the sexiest thing in the world to talk about, but they matter to everyone right now, y'all. If you got a credit card, it matters. If you're buying goods and services, which we all are, it matters, because the rate at which people or companies borrow money at gets passed along to us one way or another, right? It always ends up in the consumer's lap. So it's good to hear that information. And I think that there's that's some exciting news overall, and definitely a headwind for the real estate market. We'll talk more about that later. But tonight we're going to get into some cool things. We're going to talk about some fun things happening here in Tampa, some places that you may not be aware of or know anything about. We want to give you guys some insights, which I think is awesome. And then we're also going to talk about some cool things happening down in Lakewood Ranch and up in Wesley Chapel as well. So love to get into some of that stuff. I'm going to go find out why my child is literally crying. And I'm going to let Stacy take over. I'll be back, y'all. Hold tight. Stacy, the floor is yours.
All right.
Those poor kids.
I know, right? Well, guess what? Another lagoon is opening up in Pasco County.
Wow.
I know, right?
Like the Lagoon County of the United States.
I know. This one is going to be in Land O'Lakes, and It's called Angeline. So you may have heard us talk about it before. I know Juan's mentioned it a couple of times, but this is going to be a huge master plan community. It is 6,200 plus acres of community. Like it's going to be huge.
How big is the lagoon going to be, have they said?
No, I don't know. I have not found anywhere where they've said how big the lagoon's going to be. Juan, do you know how big the lagoon will be in Angeline?
Oh, I don't. I did read that. I'll track it down while we're looking.
I couldn't find out.
Yeah, I think that was planned to be another 7.5 acre one.
Okay, so not as big as Murata.
Not as big. Murata is kind of, do you need 3 lagoons within 25 minutes of each other that are taking up 80 acres of land? I don't know that that's the case, right? So, but I could be off base here. So we'll find out shortly.
Yeah, this community is going to be pretty cool though, because it's going to have 3,600 acres of green space. There'll be 100-mile long trail for walking and biking. It's also going to have a community farm within it, which is pretty cool. There's also going to be a STEM magnet school within that community, and it's actually opening up this fall. It's called Angeline Academy of Innovation. So that's exciting. And there's going to be a town center, event space. And of course, they have the Ultra-Fi, Wi-Fi, solar street lights, dog parks, tot lots, you name it. I think this community is going to have it. There's also going to be an access ramp right onto Suncoast Parkway.
Mm-hmm.
So that's huge. That will take you right into Tampa. And the 2 builders that are going to be in that neighborhood are Lennar and D.R. Horton. D.R. Horton hasn't started building yet. Lennar has started building townhomes and the active adult community, the 55 plus community. So I was trying to figure out when they're going to start selling the single family homes, and no one seems to know that. I spoke to a salesperson at Lennar, but she did tell me that the Murata is starting to sell their single family homes. So that's exciting. I feel like we've been waiting for that for a long time.
Yeah, we have. I'm on Angeline's website right now through Metro Places. So Metro Places is the developer. I'm sorry, Stacy, you may have shared that when I missed that. So Metro Places is the developer. So they're the company that had this vision for not only the lagoons, but these master plan communities. So they're not the builder, but they're the developer of the land. So these are the companies that are coming in and doing this, and they're getting pretty big. You can see Abbott Park, Angeline, Brightwater, Epperson, Glen Creek. This is the same developer that's about to break ground down in Bradenton as well. So if that is an area that you're focused on, a lot going on here. And this Angeline development, I think, is incredible. Stacy, you hit on a bunch of the key notes here. I just wanted to outline that, right? So Angeline will be a groundbreaking 6,200 acre plus mixed use space, anchored by the Moffitt Cancer Research Center, which I think is wonderful, right? And I love that whole idea of having a farm in the community. They got some pricing on houses here too, for Angeline, so you can kind of see, know what to expect in terms of pricing. Now remember, this is starting prices, y'all. This is from pricing, and the from pricing will be starting now. And then what we've been seeing is essentially they're taking increases weekly, or being, they might hold for a week or two, but we're still seeing pretty regular price increases on new construction as a whole, depending on the builder in the community. Assume that these high demand communities that Metro Places build, that's probably what you're going to expect. There are some other new construction developments in the area that aren't seeing as aggressive rate hikes because they don't have the amenities that they do here in Angeline. But I love this. Go ahead, Stace. Sorry to interrupt there. Just wanted to make sure everybody caught this website real quick.
That's all right. So that's about it for the Angeline community. The other stuff I was going to talk about are the new restaurants coming to town in Wesley Chapel.
Awesome.
There's 4 new restaurants. There's Azteca. I'm not sure how to is it Aurora? How do you say that? Azteca Aurora?
Dioro. Yep. Dioro.
Yeah. So they're going to have their grand opening on June 24th at the Shops at Wiregrass.
Nice.
There's a crazy sushi place that has opened up at the shops at Wiregrass.
Because, everybody likes crazy sushi.
I was going to ask, why is it crazy?
I don't know. I don't like sushi, so you won't find me there.
You're missing out. Listen, I can't speak for her. I don't know where. I'm sorry. We thought we did a really good job vetting our agents, but unfortunately, we have missed out.
I've tried. I could not do it.
Let us know in the chat. I want to know if you are a sushi fan or no raw fish for you. No, thank you. I would love to know that in the comments, please and thank you, because it intrigues me. I remember also, Stacy, there was a time in my life when I could not imagine putting any raw animal in my mouth, right? Like that was so far off the radar, especially sushi. Like, how strange. I mean, this thing is covered in eel eggs, literally. That's what all that orange stuff is, right? Like, it just did not make sense to me. But I tell you what, sushi is incredible. So let us know in the chat. We want to know. We want to know if you're like-minded, or if and hey, if you don't like sushi, you probably don't like bacon. And I don't know, I can't help you.
Hey, I love bacon.
All right.
So that's not gonna work.
Awesome.
I'm with Stacy. I'm not a sushi eater either.
I understand. What else we got, Stacy?
I like that.
That's funny.
All right. Well, if you don't like sushi, then you'll be eating with Marcia and I at the Johnny C's Italian Eatery.
Very nice.
And that has opened up. That's it's actually in the new Tampa area. It's off Cross Creek and Morrisbridge Road.
Okay.
So it's pretty close to us.
Yeah, babe.
In Wesley Chapel.
What is that?
Looks really good. It
does look good. What have we got going on here? The Staten Island. See, now I'm just ignorant. I don't know what a Staten Island is supposed to be. If you're watching from New York and you can tell us what that's supposed to be, I'd love to know. But this does look awesome. I'm not going to lie. So delicious. Yes, we are open. All right. I'm ready to order. Let's do it. I'm in.
All right. And then the next place that has opened up is pretty cool. It's at the Crate, and it's called the Blush Champagne and Cocktail Bar. And it has wine, champagne, cocktails, martinis, and frozen cocktails. And this is actually the second establishment that has opened up, I guess, by these owners. They also have a place just adjacent from this location called the Blush Wine Room, which is what you have up there now. And it's kind of the same place, I guess. It has wine, cocktails, cheese boards. I guess the difference is it has food. So they have cheese boards, desserts, pots, pastas, craft beer.
Yeah.
Small plates.
Small plates, yeah. There you go.
And wine on tap.
Now you're just getting all kinds of fancy. Is it in a box on tap, or is it just on tap?
Marcia and I are going to have to go check it out. We'll report back next week.
Yes.
That's awesome.
We need to start doing reviews on these restaurants. So we'll have to start going out to eat all the time.
Yep.
Yeah, that would be really cool.
Are you drinking heavily? I mean, like it's not a real meal if you're not at least having some kind of indulgence. So
we would probably have to do that.
I'll love it. I love it. Well, thanks for the update there, Stacy. That's awesome. Lots happening. Pasco County is, I mean, it's Wally World up there right now, y'all. Like, they're just building everywhere. People are coming from everywhere. They are offering everything possible. I mean, literally, there is something to do for. I mean, we talked about Snowcat Ridge, which is literally the only snow park in the state of Florida, which is really cool. We've got hockey rinks up there. You know, we talked about the sports complex 2 weeks ago. I mean, like, there's so many things to do, right? On top of the shopping and the lagoons and all of those things, there's just a ton of opportunity up there. So, and the thing to take note of is Pasco County is, a little bit more affordable. I'm not going to call anything inexpensive or cheap. Okay. Because, like, I don't see that as an option here in Tampa. Right. If it's cheap, it's probably not someplace where most people want to live. It may not be the most desirable area, just overall, relatively speaking. Okay. But Pasco still offers a lot of value for your money. So just giving you a heads up, we were going through the numbers this morning, right, ladies? And like when you're in Pasco County, you can essentially purchase a single family home, the average single family home, a 3-2 for about $50,000 less than you can in Tampa. And that home is roughly 400 square feet larger. And it is typically 50 years newer. So, that is definitely something to just kind of keep in mind, as perspective. And as you slide south into Tampa Bay proper, if you're that Tampa, Clearwater, St. Pete, if that's what you want to call it, then things get much smaller and much more expensive really quickly. So just to kind of keep things in perspective. Okay. And then when you slide down to Sarasota, it's a whole nother world. On average down there, you're talking about almost $80,000 more for the same house. And that home will be similar in size to the one in Tampa. So not large and $80,000 more. So just something to keep in mind, when you're looking at pricing on average. But let's get into some of these comments. I love this. We asked where everybody's watching from. We got Kevin, my man, watching from Lakeland. Kevin emails me. I love that. Thanks for your support, Kevin. Appreciate that. Jusmo is watching from 64 degrees.
Oh boy,
bro, it's June what 13th? What is happening out there? Right now, I remember why I left. You are definitely reminding me of why I decided that was no longer for us, because we love seeing the sun, which is a rarity up north. And also the temperature matters. So that was important. But no, hopefully you're doing well up there, Jusmo. Thanks for watching, man. Tough for me to work in the summer. We get a lot of rain. We're supposed to start our dry season October 15th. Yeah. We're not, it hasn't got crazy with the rain yet. So that's nice. We're not in that wet season. Technically, it doesn't start till July, but it's coming. When you wake up in the morning and it's 78 degrees and the sun's not out yet, we're just a heartbeat away from being wet out here all the time. Connie is watching in LA. What's up, Connie? You're 69 degrees. Also, what is it, a cold front up north? Like, is that normal in Los Angeles? I thought you guys were 77 and sunny every day. I'd love to know.
Yeah.
Love to know. Connie asks, is that a smart community? Connie, can you give us a little bit more insight on what you're asking there? But the community it's all connected to Wi-Fi together. It's pretty dialed in. So I'd love to answer that question, but I want to make sure that we're going the right direction with that for you. Joseph has a very interesting question. I get this in the YouTube comments all the time, right? How big of a problem are the sinkholes in Tampa? Ladies, and be honest, Stacy, do you know anyone that's ever had a sinkhole in your yard?
I have not.
How long you been here?
9 years.
Marcia, you know anyone that's ever had a sinkhole in your yard?
No, I don't.
And I've never even spoke to anyone that's had a sinkhole in their yard. Does that mean they're not here? Absolutely not. I'm just giving you my perspective, my anecdotal, and my experience. Okay. We have yet to sell a property that has been in a sinkhole or has any disclosure that came along with it saying that they were, but they're definitely in Florida. We are aware. But no experience so far, Joseph. Hope that helps give you some insight there, my man. Jusmo says sushi, yes. Raw, slowly coming around. Okay. Some is okay. The texture inflate. Yeah, it is like, I get it. I completely understand. I was a non-mushroom eating person for the first 35 years of my life because of so I completely understand. Yes, sir. What's up, my man? Great info. You are welcome. Connie Hoffa, there's a story. That guy was locked out from the smart house for a week by Amazon. Not sure what you're talking about, but that's not good. All right. And then we've got someone else is watching from Montreal. See Demi. You guys picked the coolest name. Sometimes they're very hard to pronounce live. So I love that. But hey, thanks for watching all the way up north. Questioning you, if it's 60, 60, what is it? What do you say? In 64 in Chicago and 69 in Los Angeles. I would love to know what the temperature is, Fahrenheit, by the way, in Montreal, or you can put it in Celsius and one of the ladies will convert it. But thanks for watching, y'all. We appreciate it. We appreciate you. All right, Marcia, let's talk about what's happening in the beautiful South down there, which is, we make it sound like it's so far away. It is literally 30 minutes.
Well, I want to talk about Lakewood Ranch. I know we mention it a lot, but I'd like to explain it a little bit to people so they know what it is. Lakewood Ranch sits in both Manatee and Sarasota County, just on the east side of I-75. It's 33,000 acres, I think it's 50 square miles of a planned community. And by planned community, I mean, before they ever built any of it, there was a plan of where the residential areas were going to be, where the schools and downtown areas and shops would be. So it's built to offer a really great lifestyle, and it is extremely popular. They have their communities they call villages, and there's over 33 of them currently, 18 that are still selling homes. So there are homes that were built in communities built several years ago. It started over 100 years ago, actually. Lakewood Ranch was thought of and began. But most of the homes there are pretty new, and the communities are great in that they all offer different lifestyles. There's a couple communities that are 55 and up. There's villas, townhouses, single family homes, all different types of lifestyles offered, all types of amenities. Some have a lot of amenities, including golf courses and swimming pools and clubhouses, all that you could ever want. And some have more basic amenities. And what that does is brings down your HOA fees. So for a young family or somebody that doesn't want to have a lot of social life, that's a good option for you in Lakewood Ranch or anywhere. The housing market starts there like at 300,000, and that would be for like a villa or condo. And in doing my research, it says that single families start in the 4s, but I can tell you that that would not include like the land or lot that you build on, and
or bathroom,
or any kitchen, no cabinets, anything. That's just the starting price.
Yeah.
That's something I learned when I moved to Florida, is a lot of times when you're looking in new communities, when they say starting at, that's really basically the shell of the home. It's not the lot or any of the design upgrades or structure inside. So that's a learning experience for everyone, and that's something we like to help guide you along with. So right now there's over 60,000 residents in Lakewood Ranch, but it is growing night and day. They're building. It's a super busy, super cool place to live. We love going there out to dinner, or they have a lot of activities, festivals, events in the Lakewood Ranch area. There's over 150 miles of trails there and over 10,000 miles of lakefront. So 10,000 acres. I'm sorry, not miles of lakefront.
Great golf courses. There's a lot to do down there. It's a whole, like, it's a vibe. You know what I mean? So the thing to keep in perspective, like as I zoom out, it's not close to the beach. The thing that I do want to point out, because a lot of the times we'll get phone calls from people, you know, they're like, I'd love to be, you know, no more than 30 minutes to the water. And it looks like it is, but it's really not. You know, with traffic and lights and everything, you're going to be looking 45, you know,
I would say,
45 minutes to as much as, I mean, if you're in the southwest corner or southeast corner over there, you could be as much as 55 minutes away with traffic. So just,
I think people don't realize, Juan, is when you're driving from that area to the beach, it's all streets. It's not a highway or some quick way to get there. It's all traffic light after traffic light. So, and it's the same way with Wesley Chapel. I mean, there's not like a highway taking you there. So it looks close, and it is, but it's just how the transportation works out is pretty slow.
Yeah. And you do have beautiful beaches, but you're looking there, 24 miles to Anna Maria Island is, you know, given a little perspective, 21 minutes to Bradenton Beach. Lido Key is 15 miles, which sounds close, right? Like, well, we came from up north. If it was 15 miles, I could basically make it just about anywhere in 15 to 20 minutes. 15 miles in Florida, that's a whole it's a whole different ball game. So I just wanted to give you some perspective when you see these things, because they're not close. So we just want to make sure that we're being, you know, we are, you know, us, we try to be as transparent as we
Yeah.
possibly can with where things are. But it is surrounded by world-class beaches, y'all. Right? Siesta Key was just rated the second best beach in America, and it's constantly in a dogfight with Clearwater, St. Pete, Siesta Key. These beaches are always fighting, and the dirty little secret is they're all absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah.
Right. So that is nice to have those options and to understand that that's available to you in a short drive, so just keep that in mind. There's a ton going on around there.
Yeah, so Lakewood Ranch is a great place. I love showing homes there. My husband and I almost moved into Lakewood Ranch when we moved here 9 years ago, but our goal was to be on or near a body of water that we could put our boat in. So although we don't live in Lakewood Ranch, we do a lot there. So it's not far from us, and we love the lifestyle there.
This is Waterside, which is really developing. They're doing a good job here, and this is in the south west corner of Lakewood Ranch, just so give anybody perspective here of
so
where
they do have two downtown areas, the Lakewood Ranch, the original downtown area, with the Lakewood Ranch Main Street, where it has the Welcome Center and lots of restaurants, a theater. There's lots of different things downtown, including the Lakewood Ranch Hospital, which is a great hospital. A lot of the doctors that are at Sarasota Memorial also work out of the Lakewood Ranch Hospital, and their Lakewood Ranch in itself has tons of doctors' offices. So whenever you have a doctor's appointment and you live in this area, it's pretty much all the time in Lakewood Ranch.
Have you gone on the ranch night yet, Marcia?
Oh yeah. Yeah, we've done that. It's a lot of fun. It has the largest cornhole, or I think it's the second largest cornhole league in the United States. So they close down streets and they have all these cornhole setups, and people are playing cornhole. They have a live band, and they have, I would say, 15 to 20 food trucks there. Okay. So you get food. They have the band. They have a lot of the vendors from the farmers market come on Wednesday night. So it's a lot of fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's great. And Marcia, I understand that there is a dinner cruise available on the Manatee River. Is that correct?
A dinner cruise? Oh, you mean with me? Of course. Everybody's loving it.
No. You sent me dinner by boat on the Manatee River is what you sent my way, which looks really cool.
Was me. That was me going by boat to different restaurants on the Manatee River. So I thought it'd be fun to tell you about how cool it is living in Bradenton on the Manatee River, because it gives you access, as we've talked about before, access to get out into the Tampa Bay and all the way out to the Gulf of Mexico. But if you stay in the Manatee River, there's lots of fun things to do as well. And I was going to mention 5 of our favorite restaurants to boat to. They all have dock space for people coming to the restaurant. So Stephen and I just went on Sunday to River House Grill, one of our favorites. It's at the end of a pier in a marina. They have great food there. Most of the restaurants in this area have a happy hour special for food and drinks. So for like $21, we had 3 different types of appetizers, and got to enjoy a boat ride over there. Just walk up to the restaurant and sit down out. We like to sit down outside. So River House Grill is really cool. It's in the Palmetto area. And then another fun place to go is Woody's Riveroo. That's in Ellington. I always call it a biker bar, because when you're there, you do see a lot of bikers pull in, and there's lots of motorcycles in the parking lot, but it's also a lot of boaters. That's got a really cool environment. Always bands playing there, and it's right on the edge of I-75. So it's in a loud, busy area, and it's lots of fun. Another place we really like to go is Pier 22. It's a little bit fancier than the other ones that I'm talking about, but also has indoor and outdoor seating and offers a lot of different options for you.
Yeah, this is a beautiful area right here.
That's in downtown. Yeah. Pier 22 is right in downtown Bradenton. 2 other restaurants we like in downtown Bradenton that we've talked about many times is O'Brick's and Oak and Stone. We have not boated to those, but you can. There is a public dock in downtown Bradenton that you can boat to and leave your boat there. We just haven't done that yet, but it's another option. And where else was I going to mention? Oh, Whiskey
Marcia
Joe
took us to Oak and Stone this past week to celebrate Stacy's birthday, y'all.
Yeah. I hope you enjoyed it, Stacy. I know you talked about it.
Yeah, it was beautiful. And the pizza was awesome. Loved it. I had enough for leftovers the next day.
Good. That's what I get every time I go there. I went out on a limb by ordering something else, but it was delicious. But my go-to is their pizza and salad. It's so good.
And Marcia, how far is it to the Gulf from, say, Pier 22?
In the boat it's about a half hour.
Okay. That'll get you out to, like we discussed these areas in the past. You got Fort DeSoto out here, Shell Key, like everything's going on this end, and you can see Anna Maria Island out there as well. So
we're not seeing that. We're not seeing that one.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, that's right. Sorry, y'all.
That's okay.
I meant to share that with the people. With the people. You gotta see the map. All right. Yeah. So going back to Pier 22 is right here. So this is where Oak and Stone Pier 22 is. And if you take the river ride out, that'll take you, you can see Anna Maria Island here. We talked about Egmont Key a couple weeks ago. Fort DeSoto Park up here, just a lot going on. So the river's a good time. It is a cool place to hang out. Great views down there. I really enjoy every time we go down and hang out. I always feel spoiled, being up in Pinellas County, but just in all fairness, like it's gorgeous down there. Sarasota, Anna Maria, Longboat, Bradenton, these are really, really nice areas, so it's definitely something to consider, if you're looking for that investment property or second home, or if you're considering making that move, these are areas worth taking a look at. So great share, Marcia.
Thank you. I love sharing about where I live because I love living here. So if people are interested in that type of lifestyle, it makes me happy to try to help them find something that they like.
Now, here's something. Montreal is warmer than Chicago.
Oh, wow.
You don't see that every day. You do not see that every day. That is fascinating. Just Mo said, oh, Mo. All right. Just Mo. Got it. Just Mo. My man. It was in the 80s last week. Should be back up there next week. Yeah, no, I get it. We know the roller coaster. We're all from the north. So I'm from Detroit originally. Marcia, it was from the UP, correct?
No, close to it. Sheboygan, Michigan, just below the bridge. Yeah.
way up
there.
Way up here, right? Like way up here. And then Stacy's from Indiana.
Yep.
Right. So originally, trust me, we're all aware of the roller coaster that is the summer up there, right? Sometimes they're incredible. Other times you weren't quite sure it ever arrived, right? So I can feel you on that. No, that's what's up. So thanks for watching, my man. We appreciate you guys. Hopefully help and answer some questions. So I want to get into some other stuff that's happening local. I've got tabs open all over the place right now, but I just wanted to kind of chime in on this stuff because the developments that we've got happening in Tampa right now are just unbelievable. But I want to show you guys some of the lifestyle that really draws people to the area. That there's I've talked about it before, and when people call, they'll kind of ask where we hang out. Hey, where do you go hang out? And just for perspective, I'm 45. My wife is a little bit younger. So she's not a retiree like me. No, I'm kidding. But she's a little bit younger and, we still like to go out. I don't get wild anymore. Those days are well beyond me. I turn into a pumpkin at a specific time at night. So like I can't close bars or do anything crazy like that anymore. But we love to go out, have great food, see some good entertainment, live music. We're big fans of live music. We occasionally will dance. That's nice to have that as an option, but we really love to get outside and take advantage of what Tampa really has to offer. Like I was telling you this morning, we woke up and it's 78 degrees already. While that feels like it can be painful, it's also really cool when, it's 9:30 at night and you want to go for a walk on Tampa Riverwalk, and you just out there, you're living your best life, so to speak. So, people often ask, like, where do we go hang out? And I want to share a little bit of that today. with the audience, because I know sometimes, you know, we're real estate focused here, but like we're lifestyle focused first and foremost. So I found this great guide to the Riverwalk here. And we've got so many cool things that are happening in the city at all times, but the Riverwalk really it's a gem. It's one of the longest Riverwalks in the country, if not the longest. And we just got approval for another expansion here of, I believe, another mile, but it is 2.6 miles currently. And it goes from Armature Works or the north end of Tampa. I'll show you on the map all the way to downtown. You can go over to Sparkman's Wharf. Once you get downtown, I mean, it's just incredible. So, and it's all lit up. It's right along the river. I mean, it's just a cool place to go hang out. It's super, you know, I've never felt unsafe there. Kate and I have never been bothered. We walk right by the Straz Center, which is where, you know, the plays come, like Hamilton and those types of things. And Armature Works is one of our personal favorite venues. It's this huge, used to be an industrial building that they turned into a mixed use space. So there's restaurants, bars. There's actually a wedding venue or a venue in there that they do weddings and events at. And it's full of these little restaurants and shops inside of it. It's really cool. And they have an outdoor space where they've done movie night. We went and seen Elf there during Christmas. It was awesome on this big, huge screen out in the parking lot. There's typically live music. And again, you can walk up and down the river from there, and it's awesome just to go hang out. So something cool to go do. Armature Works. And if you go there, there's 2 restaurants that I would strongly encourage. Well, there's more than 2. We eat a lot. There's a sushi joint there, but our 2 favorite restaurants there. And when we go to Tampa, these are typically our go-tos. We go to Ulele. I'll show you that in a second, which is unbelievable. Make sure you get the oysters. They will change your life. They are unbelievable. And we go to Steelbach, which is a steakhouse, and they locally source meat, and it's just a wonderful experience. The kitchen's open. You get to see that just gorgeous wood stove that they cook the steaks on. It just smells like incredible, delicious goodness, and they make incredible cocktails. So I hope that my elevator pitch works there for you, because you really have a good time. It's just absolutely beautiful when you go down there. But here's another shot of the Riverwalk, you know, happen at night. It's just one of those cool spots. People will be riding their bikes. They'll be on one wheels. They'll just be kind of hanging out, doing their thing. And it's one of those places where it makes you want to go and really take advantage of what the city has to offer. So definitely encourage you guys to go check that out. Riverwalk is amazing. I don't think you'll be disappointed over there. So definitely worth checking out. All right. Ladies, I have a question for you. Have either one of you spent any significant time on the Riverwalk?
I have not. I wish at the time I think I've been there twice and I loved it. It's just we stay busy and don't make the time to go up there.
Yeah. But you've been there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Stacy?
Yeah, I've been there a couple of times.
What's your favorite part of the Riverwalk?
I think Armature Works is my favorite part. Yeah.
Armature Works.
It's really cool. My daughter got her senior pictures taken there. They have a lot of cool places to take photos too.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. That does make sense. I could see that. That's pretty cool. I'll show you guys a photo of it right now. The space is awesome. You can see it in, I think our intro video has drone footage of Armature Works, I'm pretty sure. Because it's just a great space. So they've got a market. They call it the Heights, the Heights District Market is what it's called. Beautiful. And then all the other things that are going on. You can take taxi ride, pedal pubs, literally on the river. They've got a taxi that you can take all the way downtown Tampa. Do that. They've got a bar inside of the space too, where you can get some cocktails. It's awesome. And then, like you see in the outdoor space, the kids love the chessboard. We go hang out there. They do a Christmas tree during the winter. And, you know, Florida is definitely interesting in the winter if you're coming from the north or anywhere cold. It's, you know, it's a different environment. It does get cool. Cold is relative. That happens only a few days out of the year, but just a beautiful spot to come hang out. I think if you get into Tampa and you ever have a chance to go to Armature Works, I would encourage you just to go hang. It's a cool spot to check out. You know, and spend some time down there. All the shopping is great. They do car events there. They got a car club that meets there. They do yoga, as you can see, date nights. There's a cooking venue. That's what this is here, which is freaking awesome. You can go down and do that. Paddle boarding. Here's the car clubs, right? Rides by the river. Just a lot going on down there, similar to Waterside, but on steroids. Okay. So like Waterside and Lakewood Ranch, it would feel very similar to what's going on down here in Tampa. And again, at night, I mean, this place is just bumping Thursday, Friday, Saturday. It's just, it's a really good time to go check out. So if you're in town, I would strongly encourage you to go there. They've got restaurants for days. There's so much there that you can choose from. Let me see if they've got the list here. Definitely, you're not going to go wrong with the ice cream. Ava is the pizza. That was great. Bacon Babes is awesome. This is the bar all. This is the one that's on like the big, in the center of the facility. I haven't had the Asian kitchen yet. B&B we have not had. The Brew Buddy coffee is awesome. We just had a client in from Chicago, as a matter of fact, and I took him to Brew Buddy in South Tampa, and he was like, this coffee is incredible. So he loved it. That was fantastic. Crew Cellars, and then Empamama's, which this place is always packed, y'all. When you walk inside, Empamama's got a line for days. Gray's is awesome. They make a really good burger with an egg on top of it. Strongly consider having that. Hemingway's, they do a pretty good job. Their yucca fries, those are awesome. I had not ever had those till we moved down. Kippo's I haven't had. And then if they get into Okinola, nice there. Steelbach, this is that steakhouse I was telling you about. Man, this place is like, you walk in and it's beautiful. It's warm, the tones that they use inside of it. And of course, when this shows up on your table, I mean, how can you be disappointed, right? Stone's Throw is good. And then I don't think they have, I wanted to show you Ulele, because this place is awesome. Now, this is named after, and I don't want to mess this up, but yeah, so there's a legend of Ulele. So and her statue is there. It's huge. It's like 6 or 7 feet tall, and it goes into the whole story of the Tocobaga chief. And it's just a really cool vibe. It's outdoors and indoors. One of the cool things I love about this space is it has it literally has like this Humpty Dumpty sitting on the outside as you're walking by it. I don't know how we ended up at Amazon.
That's where I went. I've been there. I ate there. I remember. Yeah. It was such a cool place.
It's phenomenal. So yeah, you walk up, you come down the stairs off North Ola there, and then there's a bar outside, and then you can't see it right now, but there's all of this is seating area behind here. And then you walk indoors. It's all concrete floor. It can get really loud when you go inside, but it's still beautiful. They got this fire pit, and this is Ulele herself outside right in the courtyard there. Beautiful area. The story is on here. I would check this out. I want to see if they had a gallery so I can see some photos. They don't, but I would go check out the restaurant. It's unbelievable. This is what it looks like at night. It's not a disappointment, y'all. It's worth the wait. If you're coming into town, just know you need to make a reservation way, way, way ahead of time. If you're going to call on Tuesday for a Saturday, you're going to be left standing outside because it's not going to be an option for you. So keep that in mind when you're coming to Ulele. So that's great news. All right. Now I want to get to some real estate news. What's happening in the market, because we are in the funkiest of funky markets right now. Interest rates close today at, oh my word, where they close at? Time to share this bad boy with y'all. I think they were at 6.98%, y'all. Whew. Anybody else feeling the pain? 6.98. That is a very, very large number. So that is something to take in consideration when it comes to borrowing money, right? But good news is the CPI data came out today. I'm not going to beat y'all up with charts on this stuff because I can go on it for days. But we came in line with expectations. So the market was a little bit happy about that. I think consumers are, I would like to say you're feeling it in your wallets, but I got to be honest. Like Kate came home yesterday from Costco. She's like, things are still going up. I just want you to know that. I was like, okay. And I think most of us feel it at the pump and then the grocery store before we feel it anywhere else. right? But it's great news to see that because there is a parallel. I went back and did the research today. Like I said, I'm not going to beat you up on the charts, but historically speaking, when inflation goes down, interest rates tend to follow. Okay, so I don't have a timeline for that. I don't know what that looks like. I don't even know if that means an eighth of a point, a quarter point. We don't have a clue, right? But there could be some relief on the horizon when it comes to housing, and I think that's important because the numbers. I mean, we start running the numbers. We were going together as a team mortgage calculator today, and I want to share this with you guys because this really puts some things in perspective for people. Now if you're paying cash for a home or a second home or an investment here, then interest rates don't matter to you. This is actually a really good time for you. With sales being down 30%, it does give you a little bit more options. But here's what you need to know. Even with sales being down 33%, and that's not prices, y'all. So keep in perspective because Tampa's actually up 4% year over year. But what it's doing is it's the best properties are being fought for, right? And you're seeing 3, 4, 5 is, offers per property that on those homes that people are move-in ready and have been updated. Anything outside of that is in pretty rough shape. But what I wanted to do is jump into here, and you can go to Google and just type in mortgage calculator for anybody trying to figure out what this would look like. But what I wanted to do is jump in and just give you guys an example because we were going through these median home prices here in the area. And the thing I want to share with you is like median, I hate that term, but that's how they measure everything. They measure it in the middle because when we're out there working with clients, we're never, ever hardly in the median. We're always on the average. And I don't know about you, those two things are always different in terms of income or the price, right? So when we're looking at average prices today, you're looking at, somewhere in the $450,000 to $550,000 range in the greater Tampa Bay area, depending on where you purchase. Okay. And I think we came out to right around 480,000 as the average. So I just want to use that as an example. You may be looking at $700,000 homes or $1 million homes. I want to help you just understand how to run through this exercise if you're going to borrow money. Okay. And I think it's good if you're using cash too, because it gives you perspective as to what other home buyers that you may be up against are up against, so to speak. Right. So, if we looked at a $480,000 purchase, in this, it says they're putting down 20%. And let's say you got that best rate today of 6.98%. And if your credit's marginal at all, it's going to be in that 7.5, like they were showing up there, but 6.8%. On a $480,000 property, they got taxes at $6,000. That's it. Depending on what community you're in, that could be your tax bill. On average, the counties or that surround us have a income or a property tax of about 1%, and then you have to add the municipal taxes on top of that. So I try to always use like 1.35%. If you're in a community with CDD fees and HOAs, those are added on top of that. You get that bill annually with your taxes. So kind of factor that in for yourself. If we assume a $480,000 property with no HOA, no CDDs, this is probably going to be fair in terms of taxes-ish, depending on what city you live in. Okay. So again, this isn't a direct quote. Homeowners insurance, nobody's getting homeowners insurance at $1,680 in Florida, at least where we live. So I like to be safe and just put like a $3,500 number in there. It could be less, honestly, but it could be more too, depending on whether you're in a flood zone or not. So we're just going to go with what we're seeing on average. If they were to put down 20%, that's a $3,300, $3,342 on your mortgage. And we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, where the United States just hit an all-time high on the monthly mortgage payment for the median home. Right now, we're talking about the average. And, we see 20% pretty regularly. That's not uncommon, but I think most of the time when people are financing with us, ladies, we tend to see more around that 15% range, right? And the 15, it seems like we either have cash buyers, or they're mortgaging very little on average, but that would give you private mortgage insurance too. And if you've never heard that term, that's the fee that you pay to be a risk. Okay. So the bank assumes that if you don't have at least, 20% of skin in the game, that you are a risk factor, and then they charge you accordingly. Okay, so that's what that's for. That's an insurance in case you ever default. And that number changes all the time too. But, just looking at this, it's a $3,500 a month payment. And we were looking at areas today like Sarasota, where the average home, you know what I mean? Like average versus median. But, looking at places like Lakewood Ranch, we talked about Lakewood Ranch tonight, right? Marcia said you're starting at 400. But if you're buying a single family home in Lakewood Ranch, like we're talking at least 650, right, Marcia?
Yeah, the average right now is 652.
There you go.
And that's in Sarasota. In Bradenton, which is also Lakewood Ranch, it was 736.
736, right? So, if we just run off of 650, now we're at $4,700 a month, and that's, again, we didn't adjust our insurance, which may or may not go up or down. All right. So, again, I'm just trying to give generalizations. Taxes I think that's fair. It's hard to do taxes on the fly like that, but I think that's fair once you get up into that $700,000 range. And this is what we were talking about earlier, 18 months ago. And listen, y'all, we're in a different market, so we're moved past that. But I do understand people are still anchored to this. And I want to share the perspective, right? Yes. 18 months ago, you could buy $1 million home for a $5,000 a month payment. Now that same $1 million only spends like $700,000, right? And people are listening, like, who's spending $1 million? Y'all, we have lots of $1 million homes down here. Okay, so like, listen. They rub stones together. The money comes out. We don't ask questions.
We keep trying, and it's not happening.
Yeah, exactly. But I
stones.
Yeah, that's tongue in cheek, right? But like, we just love to share perspective on like what we're seeing in the marketplace. You know what I mean? And what reality looks like, because we were digging into some of those numbers, and we thought that it was vitally important to share, the reality of this, because you see stuff and you're like, what does that actually mean? What does it actually mean to make that happen? And we've shared before, like, we're going through the purchase process right now, and like, I'm telling you right now, I got sticker shock from what we're working on purchasing. And I'm like, as a young man coming out of Detroit, Michigan, I never could have imagined somebody handing me the bill that I'm looking at taking hold of right now and going, that sounds like a good idea, because it's terrifying, y'all. I'm just going to be honest with you. Like, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Right. So I get it. Right. I just want to empathize with anyone who's looking at these things, but I also want to share some insights. There are ways to reduce that monthly expense. Okay. So we're going to get back to that. I'm going to pull that back up here in a second, but I want to introduce a concept to you guys, and we'll go deeper. If you'd like, reach out to me. I'll share with you. I've got a worksheet that'll help break this down. But we would also be more than happy to talk about it, but there's strategies. So, at a 7% interest rate environment, y'all, when you are writing an offer to a property, and right now they're super competitive for the good ones. Okay. Sellers are not giving concessions on those. You may be seeing price decreases because they're there, but those are homes that are needing a lot of love. Okay. And we've shared this before. If you're looking at a home and it's got an old roof, an old AC, old windows, right? First of all, it's very difficult to get a new insurance policy on old roofs. The insurance companies do not want to take them on. Okay. And now this isn't no longer a Florida thing. I read this week where insurers are starting to pull out of other states, California included, right? So my people that are over there whining about Florida and it's a travesty and all, hey, welcome to the party, y'all. Right. Welcome to the party. It's coming. Right. And because it's about risk, and the people with money don't want to risk their money. And it's not about whether I like it or not, because I hate it. I think insurance to me is the most ridiculous thing in the world until you need it. And oh, by the way, I live in a place where I could totally need it. So this is the exchange, right? If I'm going to live here, this is the trade that I make. Right. So I just wanted to share that with y'all too. But understanding that there are ways to get that payment down, because there's two types of buyers, right? You either pay in cash and you could care less what the interest rates are. You're like, bring those bad boys to 8, because that just means there's more opportunity to meet, right? And then there's the rest of us. Okay. And the rest of us have a budget. And even my people with cash, they have a budget too. So shout out to y'all. But if you're financing a deal, you're going to be limited by not only what you're comfortable with, but sometimes what the bank says that they're willing to loan you, right? And I don't know about you, but I've been in situations where the bank was more than willing to loan me money, more money than I was willing to accept, and more comfortable on that too. So one of the ways to reduce your monthly payment is to either one of two things. Ask for concessions. Now, here's what I'm not counseling you. If you're in a multiple offer situation and you're asking for concessions, you're not going to get that property. Just sharing that with you now. Okay. Don't do it because it ain't happening. Right. If you're in a situation where you have more money to put down in a 7% interest rate environment, it may make more sense for you to buy down your interest rate. Okay. Now, what that means is you're able to buy down points. And I can't tell you what that number is because just like every other financial products, banks offer those points at a different rate. Okay. Sometimes they're cheaper. Sometimes they're more expensive. But I want to give you an example. We helped a client about 6 months ago purchase in Wesley Chapel. Beautiful home, 4-bedroom, gorgeous place. We were negotiating a deal. At that point, the market was still a little bit soft, and we were able to negotiate a deal. So what we did was we were able to negotiate roughly $13,000 in concessions from the seller, meaning that the seller was willing to help the buyer with 13K. What the buyer actually asked for was a reduction in price. And me and the lender, got with the buyer and we're like, hey, if you apply this to your interest rate, your monthly payment will go down significantly. And let me give you example of what happened here. So if we were to reduce that home purchase, it was right around I think it was $460. If we were to reduce that home purchase by $13,000, it was going to mean roughly about $72 to that buyer's payment every month. Cool. Okay. $72 is $72 a month, right? That's a tank of gas. I'm here for it, right? But taking that same $13,000 that the seller was going to reduce the price of the home and having the seller give it to the buyer in the form of a contribution, okay, where the buyer can then apply that to their closing cost or their interest rates, the buyer was able to buy that down, and the savings went to $270 a month. That's a $200 difference in your payment. It's significant. Okay. I don't know about anybody else, but that's a lot of money over time. $200 a month is you can start paying some bills, right? So definitely something to keep in mind in this environment, right? Rather than putting more money down, it actually might make more sense to buy your interest rate down. Okay. That's not always the case, but in an environment like today, it could make a lot of sense. There's also programs like a 2-1 buy down. All right. And what that means is that what you do is you're buying the interest rate down by 2 percentage points. So if they're offering a 6.98 today, that would make you a 4.98 for 1 year. And y'all, a 2% reduction at rates at $600,000 or $700,000 purchase, that could mean as much as $1,000 a month. Okay, we did go back to that calculator and run the numbers. And then on year 2, you get a 1% reduction on rate. And then from year 30, from 3 to 30, it would be at today's prevailing rate, not an adjustable rate mortgage, not a variable rate mortgage, right? It would be at the 6.98 if that's the what you were quoted. And the goal with that is that hopefully in the next 2 years, you'd be able to reduce it, right? If not, you just go back to what today's rate was anyways, right? There's also a 3-2-1 buy down. There's some really good programs that can help you relieve some of that burden of that monthly mortgage payment while you try to figure out what the next move is going to be or why rates reduce. There's no guarantees that they will. So I'm not in here selling that. That's kind of the risk you run with that program. But I don't know anybody that didn't like saving $1,100 a month on their mortgage payment. Ladies, you with me on that?
Totally.
So something to be mindful of, right? All right. So that's one thing I wanted to bring to the table today. The other thing I wanted to bring to the table today is what's going on with the Hometown Hero program, because this gets me excited. I need to bump over here. So there was an act passed in January. It was signed by the governor. It was called the Live Local Act. Okay. And what that did was that gave some cash infusions regarding housing. And I want to get into that. Give me 1 second. I'm just tracking her down. Where'd we do with this?
While you're doing that, I just wanted to comment on what we talked about this morning and what you brought up about working with a lender. I don't think people realize how important that is to talk to someone, have someone they can rely on, not only through their, we provide that to them speaking to a lender, but it's so important to do that ahead of time and to know what you can look at, what you're going to be comfortable with, and then have someone that can give you different options. Because if people are just hearing 7% and put it in the mortgage calculator and think that's the only way, I think a lot of people are going to say, I can't do it.
Yep. Yeah, that's a huge, give Marsha a hand, y'all. Give Marsha a hand. That's why we're bringing this to you, because
it's really important to let us help you and let your lender help you. That's what they're there to do. So it's fine to give my 2 cents.
No, that's wonderful. I get smaller when we do that. I'm trying to give it to in a range where y'all can see this. Well, here's the highlights of the program, and I wanted to share this with the community because it's awesome. So in January, they passed the Live Local Act. And what that did was it initiated, there was many programs, but one of them was called the Hometown Heroes Program. And this gave firefighters, first responders, so police officers, military, hospital workers, access to down payment assistance through the state in the form of a 0% interest rate loan on the property, which is cool. And I don't want to get too far in the weeds, but I'll share this with you. Okay. And that's cool. That's great. Right. But like a lot of other people are like, well, that's great for first responders, but what about for us? Well, actually the program ran out of money yesterday because it was a grant funded by the state. They put a pool of cash in there that came from the state. And once that money was gone, the program was over. Well, they just extended the program. And then not only that, they added the ability for all Floridians to have access to this money while it is available. That's the caveat. And there are some restrictions that you need to be aware of. It's not a free for all. Okay. But this program is incredible. Okay. What it does, and we use programs like this in Michigan too. And I've used them a lot with buyers who, had good credit. They didn't have to have great credit, but they had good credit. They had a solid job, but they just weren't in a position because of whatever happened in their life where they were able to save enough money for that down payment and their closing costs to be able to purchase a home. So a program like this allows for that. And it even allows for people who have a little bit of security there to dig into this program. Now, there are restrictions. I want you guys to go dig into it. But if you go to the Live Local Act, just type that in, Hometown Heroes. It'll take you to this website. You want to go to this website because it's really comprehensive, but it breaks it down. So it doesn't have the update on the program, but on July 1st, this program is going to kick off again. But I just want to give some highlights, right? So you're eligible for a full-time employee. You got to be a resident, right? FHA, VA, those apply. Our veterans, they're able to use this program as well, which is cool. Borrowers can receive up to 5% of their first mortgage amount to a maximum of $35,000 in down payment assistance. Okay. That's awesome. It depends on the purchase price, how much you're able to borrow. Okay. Down payment and closing cost assistance is available in the form of a 0%. That is so important to understand. Not 7%, at 0%, non-amortizing 30-year deferred second mortgage. So I just want to clarify this because this is where some people they get a little bit confused. This is not free money that you get to keep forever that just goes away. The government is not scheduled to wave the magic wand and this debt goes away. This second mortgage, if you will be there with you as long as you own that property. And it has to be your primary residence, meaning it cannot be an investment property. This has to be something that you reside in, your primary residence. Now, going back to that loan, okay? If you refinance the property, that loan is due at the time of that refinance. If you sell the home, that loan is due at the time of the sale. Okay. So this is something that you need to be aware of, right? It says right here, hero loans are non-forgivable. So be aware of that. Okay. But this is an excellent program for people who have the ability to pay, but may not have the extra income that it takes for the down payment. Okay. Now here's what I want you to know. While that's awesome, the thing you need to be aware of is what that's going to do is that's going to push buyers who weren't able to purchase into the market. And with a low inventory situation that we already have, that could make things a little bit more challenging here. So be aware if you're considering, and again, I'm not trying to like fearmonger here, just like be aware. There's going to be people who were on the sideline who couldn't get in the game before that now have access to some capital that can do it. So we need listings, y'all. We've talked about this. The reason we don't have listings is because people are sitting on 3% interest rates, and God bless you. I'm not mad at you. You're not selling. I wouldn't want to get rid of my 3% interest rate either. Right, man. I'd try to find some other way to make that happen. Right. But the people that are selling right now are the ones that either get to because they're moving on to a different phase of life, right? Aren't worried about the interest rates, or the people that have to. And the people that have to get very competitive very quick because they have to. And there's a difference between the two, but we wanted to share that with you. So the Hometown Hero program, that's awesome. If you'd like to know more about it, our lenders are very adept in that program. I'd love you to connect you to those lenders. All of our contact information is down below for those of you that don't know. Okay. That's one. Secondly, interest rates, the environment we're talking about. If you're local and you're considering selling your home, y'all, there are 3 key factors that you need to know when it comes to selling your house. We're already over time. We're not going to get into those today. Reach out to us. I'd love to discuss those with you because these are the things that get buyers to write great offers. You want to know how those neighbors around you are getting over asking price right now? It's because they've tipped those keys. Okay. So I want to make sure that we give you that insight. But Hometown Hero, the mortgage rate buy down, these are great strategies that you can use to win out there. I want to get into some of these comments because y'all are wonderful and you've been kicking them up. Let me see here. Mo, thank you. Finally got that right. Yes, sir. Most seafood places I've been so far have been good. I'm going to be hitting them all. Yeah, man. Seafood's what's up. That's where you come down here. Say, yes, sir. I can't wait. They're talking to each other. Not excited about the price of living down there, but I'll have to adapt. Yeah, I mean, listen, y'all. It's still, I know people that live here, they're local. They're like, this is nuts. I get it, but I've traveled, right? And I've been to other places that are crazy expensive. Boston, San Diego. When it comes to coastal, it's different. And I know people who've been living here in Florida, like, it's enough, but this is the world we live in, y'all. I don't like 7% interest rates, and I don't like having to fight for every house that I'm trying to purchase either. But this is the reality of the market we're in. So just keep that in mind as you're flowing around. Vince, I hope that helped about the Hometown Hero program. It's an awesome program. July 1st, you better be ready to run because the way those programs work, y'all, you can go get qualified, and there's some income requirements. You can't make more than a certain amount of money. You have to take a program from the state. It's like a small class that it's just homeowner education. And you go out and you start shopping. Guess what? If you're shopping and that money runs out before you get a contract, you don't get that money. So this is something you need to be aware of. Okay. So if you're going to get in the game ASAP, make sure you reach out to us. So just want to make sure you guys are on top of that. And we want to thank all the viewers. You guys are amazing. Thanks for showing up to the channel. Thanks for being part of the community with us. We love serving you. Marcia, any final words tonight?
Just thank you so much for joining us, and we're here to help you. So if you have any questions, feel free to give us a call.
Absolutely. Stacy?
Yep, it was fun as always.
Awesome. And y'all, if you have any questions, all of our contact information is below. We'd love to know where you're watching from. So if you're watching this on YouTube later or any other channels, go ahead and put that in the comments as well. And until next time, go out and live that Tampa life. Have a great night, y'all.
Good night.